In 2012, I started eating a lot more and got fat. 2019, I wanted to make a change, so I starved myself and got skinny. Then finally in 2024, I found a balance between working out and eating, which got me fit. But the journey wasn't all that simple. From the outside, it looks like a clear 12-year path, but it wasn't. I fought through lots of discomforts, insecurities, and anything else that life threw at me. Maybe you can relate to me, and in that case, you're in for a treat. In this video, I lay out my experiences and what I learned from being fat to skinny to fit. Being fat, what was it like? Well, I spent the majority of my 21 years on Earth fat. Before 2012, I never overate, so I was always at a healthy weight. But I struggled to make friends, which led me to turning to snacks. Let's just say I blew up. And let me tell you, being fat sucked. Like, even the nerds in my school would poke fun at me, because no matter what you call someone, nothing is more insulting than being called fat. If you are currently overweight, just know that you are not alone. When I was fat, I ate whatever and whenever I wanted. It was quite epic. What wasn't quite epic though is when I sat in my chair and I could feel my fat start to layer up. Or when I couldn't run for shit, unless there was a donut in my face. I played video games a lot, scrolled mindlessly, and ate, obviously. I used to be such an outgoing kid, but gaining weight made me go from an extrovert to an introvert. I never wanted to speak up because I thought people would bring up my weight. I was afraid of everything. I did my best in sports, but I always was too in my head. Plus, I'd have a buffet right after practices. So I never gave myself a good chance to be good at anything. I continued to live my life hoping that nobody would notice me. I remember specifically sitting in a classroom and staring across the room, seeing two girls record me while laughing. You know how humiliating that is? But if I'm going to be honest, being fat was a blessing in disguise, because it fueled my motivation to prove everyone wrong and make a change. I knew I wasn't supposed to live the rest of my life Twinkie chasing. I had goals and dreams of my own, but in that current state, I knew I wouldn't be able to achieve my dreams. Being fat made my first self-improvement goal pretty straightforward: eat less and move more. So that's exactly what I did. What I discovered was you can actually turn your weight into a positive thing, because you have an advantage that nobody can see: being at the bottom. It's only a climb uphill. When you begin to realize that, you can start improving. Things aren't easy now, because it felt like everyone's out to get me. But you know who's telling yourself that? You. Don't let those voices in your head get too loud. Get better every day by starting small. Oh, being small? That was once me too. Being skinny is a very different story from being fat. After looking at my floppy belly for a while, I decided it was time for a change. My dad set up a home gym, which gave me the motivation to start working out, even if it was a few times a week. I had some beginner gains. Not really though, because food didn't exist for me. I was so stubborn to lose fat that I barely ate, which meant not a lot of muscle was being put on. I also would drink a glass of apple cider vinegar every day. Yeah, ew. I don't know how I did that. Not gonna lie though, my plan worked. I dropped 40 pounds. When I had my yearly doctor's appointment though, they told me something I never could have imagined. You are anorexic. I was terrified. My life flipped on its head, literally. Because at school, things were going vastly different. I felt recognized rather than a castaway. I made friends. I even started getting attention from the other gender. We're venturing into uncharted territory here. I felt like people gave me way more respect than when I was chubby. I grew more confident and happier during the stretch. But something felt missing. People saw me as normal, but I knew that wasn't the final destination. It sounds like I had it all, but I didn't. Besides, I was considered anorexic when a few months ago, I was overweight. I hit two sides of the spectrum. What I realized is I need to be more in the middle than the ends. I used to work out so much, but I felt that that's all what I needed to care about if I wanted to see results. Not eating led to less gains, which isn't good. My thinking at the time was that there were only two sides to weight: skinny and fat. To be fair though, I was in high school and there wasn't a lot of kids that were super fit, so I understand my thinking. But the battle to get in between was a lot harder than it looked. But I already got this far. I mean, I went from hating myself to actually appreciating where I came from. So it took a lot of trial and error. My weight kept fluctuating up and down, but then I figured it out. Being fit. After years of struggle, I found a way to balance the gym and eating correctly. I'm still on my journey as we speak, so I unfortunately don't have visible abs yet, but they'll be coming soon. The funny part is, when you're fit, people don't compliment you a whole lot. Yeah, that upset me, because the whole reason why I did all this was so that people didn't look down on me. Deep down though, I feel like people knew despite their reaction. They knew that I'm fit and that I achieved an uneasy task. They're just jealous or something. Yeah, that's definitely it. Which still gave me a major confidence boost. I grew to love myself a lot more over the course of this journey and be very appreciative of where I came from. Unfortunately though, being fit doesn't result in girls and fame. It's a good foundation to start on, but you need more skills than just health. You need determination, discipline, and consistency if you want to reach your goals. Most importantly though, you need to find peace. Start focusing on yourself. Don't worry about what others are doing. They aren't you, and everyone goes in their own pace in life. The biggest thing I learned losing and gaining a bunch of weight is to not compare yourself to others. The sooner you stop, the more life can offer. Also, fitness is not a destination. It's a journey that people can choose to walk. Not all stories are the same. How somebody got fit can be completely different than how you did. Everyone has their own way of staying healthy, but keep your head up, and over time, you will hit your goals. I haven't accomplished all that I want to yet, and that's completely okay, because your past can be your greatest motivation for your future. Keep on going. I learned a lot through my fitness journey so far. One thing that will help achieve all your goals is to get rid of all distractions and lock in. That includes your phone. In this video, I talk about the up and coming brain rot epidemic and how you can escape it.